Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Andrew Thorn here at Legacy Sherpa, and today I'm reading chapter 1 of my book, Monumental Peace, Understanding the Arc of Awareness. And I'm super excited to share this with you. Today's chapter focuses on listening to and hearing your inner voice. And this is a skill set that we all need to develop, especially when we want to develop awareness. And so I invite you to listen closely and to think about the things that I'm saying more deeply than just listening to me say them. So without a lot of to-do or professional editing or factoring out of words, I'm going to put on my reading glasses and I'm going to share my screen. And away we go with chapter 2, which is titled Finding Your Inner Voice. This is an excerpt from a book that I love called The Knight in Rusty Armor. This is a new kind of crusade for you, dear knight, one that requires more courage than all the other battles you've fought before. It will be your greatest victory if you can summon the strength to stay and do what you need to do here. On my desk, I have this decorative wooden box. I'm going to show it to you. This is a wooden box that I got when I purchased while I was working in Costa Rica with Merck Pharmaceutical. So on my desk, there is a decorative wood box with a glass front that I purchased. Inside the box, there's a beautifully well-preserved butterfly. I love this souvenir because it reminds me of the transformation that the caterpillar goes through to become what it was always meant to be. The great author Richard Bach wrote about this wonderful transformation in his book, Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. His thoughts captured the concept of awareness in a powerful way because he was able to speak about the whole process. With great understanding, he wrote, "What the caterpillar calls death, the master calls a butterfly." What a great reminder this is for us to consider the influence that our positive and negative experiences have on our own growth and development. Could we become who we are meant to be without our trials and triumphs? My friend and yoga instructor, Lauren Ekstrom, taught me something about the nature of awareness when she said, awareness is just aware. It doesn't judge or criticize or label or categorize. This thought inspires me because it reminds us to value all of our experiences and encourages us to understand how they contribute to the process of our own transformation. Here's an exercise that I want you to ponder. It's the hearing your voice exercise number 1. Stop and think for several minutes about the areas in your life where you are experiencing the least amount of satisfaction. What would happen if you could understand how each of these experiences contributes to your growth? How much anxiety could you eliminate from your life if instead of trying to fix these areas, you appreciated it and accepted them for the way they are molding and shaping you? Put yourself in the role of observer for a minute and allow yourself to witness your relationship with these dissatisfactions. Spend some time looking at them without judging or criticizing yourself. Consider the joy that these experiences have taught you. Now ask yourself, is it possible that these experiences are some of my greatest teachers? Would I have become the person I am without the lessons they taught me? Would I want to eliminate the understanding that I gained from these experiences? Spend a few moments journaling your thoughts. Now, you may want to pause right here and take a screenshot of this exercise or read it and write it down and journal from it, because I want to know, how did you respond to this exercise? Are you willing to examine some of your least favorable experiences? Does it make you feel uncomfortable to think about the impact that these experiences have on your life? Don't worry if you had an adverse reaction. That is a normal response, especially if you haven't ever attempted to observe yourself and your experiences in this way. Before you move on, please spend a few additional moments on this exercise. I want you to see that you are capable of safely exploring your most challenging moments. You might even discover that these experiences are the ones that helped you the most in becoming who you are. The journey to wholeness is focused on answering 3 questions. Who are you? What do you want? And who do you want to become? These powerful questions are filled with emotion and energy, and at least 2 of them are focused on the creation of the future you. As you reach to develop awareness, your ability to determine what is meaningful and filter out what is meaningless will improve. As a result, you will begin to focus on what matters most to you. Our experiences and our choices, all of them, teach us the lessons of becoming. I emphasize all of them because we usually pay more attention to half of them. For some reason, it is easier for our minds to be filled with negative thoughts and false beliefs. One limitation that you might be experiencing right now is the thought, not me. I understand why you might feel this way, and I've felt that way too. I assure you that this applies to all of us. We may feel it in different degrees, but all of us worry about whether or not we are enough. And all of us feel the direct impact of our negative thoughts more acutely than we do the praise of others. When I began teaching others about awareness, I felt an intense pressure to be perfect. I didn't want my own imperfections and self-doubts to be exposed because I didn't think anyone would want to follow someone who didn't have it all figured out. This worry caused me to show up to work with a protective mask, and I missed many opportunities to use my own experiences as a tool for helping others to grow. Just want to stop there just for a second. Talk about the experience that I've been having as I've been reading this book to you and sharing some of my other books and thoughts. You notice I've talked about it. I'm not professionally producing these videos. I'm worried about that. I'm thinking you're used to consuming content that is professionally produced, but I didn't want to worry about that. I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I wanted to have the opportunity of sharing with you experiences that I've had. And I wanted just to be able to do that in an authentic way, hoping that the other side of this dialogue is that you are reading and thinking and talking about these things with others. You see, the work that I do is very deep, and it's very easy to go surface in a professionally produced video. And I'm not trying to go surface. I'm trying to go deep with you. I just want you to see me as a normal guy that happened to be thinking about this for the last 20 years and thinking that I might be a guide, a Sherpa, to help you think deeply or more deeply about many topics, awareness being one of them. So back to the text. One day I realized that I was tired of hiding. I knew that my desire to cover up the real me was preventing me from being authentic in my interactions with others. I knew I couldn't move forward until I did something about it. I decided that I would declare to everyone that I met that I was lost. The decision frightened me because I knew that one possible outcome was that I would lose the interest of those that I hoped would hire me. I was smart enough to understand that not all fears are irrational. As I considered this possibility, I decided that I would rather have people hire me for who I am than have them hire a false version of who I am. I believed that what I was feeling was normal, but I decided that it didn't matter. It was time to be the real me, no matter the cost. The declaration, I am lost, filled me with a desire to explore and discover who I am. I wanted others to feel that way too. I determined it was worth the risk to be vulnerable. The biggest surprise was that people were not surprised by this declaration. When I said, I am lost and I want to find out who I am, most people nodded their head and agreed. They weren't agreeing that I was lost. They were signaling that they understood and felt the same way. This thing that I had been holding inside of me was now out there, and I felt more liberated than ever before. I want to capture this truth in a simple statement, but even now I worry if I'm intelligent and present enough to do it. Gratefully, I'm safe in my office, and that gives me the courage to venture forward with this defining statement. When we are aware enough to value authentic wholeness, we see that there is no good or bad, and that each experience influences our ability to discern who we want to be and choose what we want to do. Let me read that one more time. When we are aware enough to value authentic wholeness, we see that there is no good or bad, and that each experience influences our ability to discern who we want to be and choose what we want to do. Freedom comes from awareness. It helps us see things as they really are and as they really may be. Without awareness, we hold on to false beliefs. Where do these false beliefs come from? From the world that we live in. Sadly, our interpretation of our own experiences is often influenced by the noise that is in the world. We act with faith only to be knocked down by others. After a few rounds of this, we decide that we better protect ourselves, and we start to suppress our true thoughts. Survival may seem more likely if we employ a preventative defense instead of going all in, but there is a cost, and that cost is our potential to thrive. Surviving is never enough. If we want to feel whole, we must create the conditions we need to thrive. I asked you to explore the areas in your life that are most dissatisfying because they represent reality. Seeing them for what they are will not turn them into delicious fruit. They will remain bitter, but without the bitter, we could never know the sweet. Acceptance doesn't foster complacency, it fosters understanding, and understanding provokes authentic response. It is important to see the value of the opposition that exists in the world. It is not here to torment us, it is here to teach us. Your inner voice is your greatest teacher. Let me say that in a different way. You are the voice. When we understand this, we are free, even when it seems like decisions are being forced upon us. Your voice is intelligent, kind, compassionate, and trustworthy. It inspires wise decisions because it is full of wisdom. It is your greatest gift. Listen to it, and you will be whole. Learning to hear your voice is a complicated process, and it takes time. If you are interested in deeper exploration of this journey, then please visit legacysherpa.com. Now, let me share an idea that I recently had that fosters this idea that I just approached with you. I love to play the game of squash. Squash is an interesting game, played on a court. Usually I play singles, and I love playing with opponents. That's what we call them in squash. Opponents who know how to play the game really well, and even opponents that are better than me. Sometimes I'm a sore loser and I get really frustrated when I lose. But I love playing with someone who's as good or better than me. I don't like playing as much with people who are just learning the game because it doesn't stretch me. And my awareness of this came into me is that I can't play squash without an opponent. I can't enjoy the game without somebody in the court. So my opponent isn't my enemy. My opponent, the opposition, whatever it might be, is my friend. It teaches me. It trains me. It helps me stretch. It helps me grow. And I really enjoy that. So what I want you to think about when you're thinking about opposition is that it's your friend, it's your trainer. And the more we can become aware of the good place, the opportunities that opposition brings into our life, the better we feel, the healthier we are. So I just like to remind you of that. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. You may want to listen to it a couple of times if it seemed like I spoke too fast. If you didn't have a chance to think about some of the questions I posed, it's good to go back over it. Or you can contact me through legacysherpa.com and we can explore this deeper together. I would enjoy that. In the meantime, I'm Dr. Andrew Thorn at Legacy Sherpa, and I will see you in the next chapter.